She is 23 years old. She is standing in a small clinic in a mountain village. There are 14 people waiting to see her, and she is the only doctor for 40 kilometers in any direction. Her name is Sofia, and 15 years ago, she did not own a pair of shoes that stayed together. This is how she got there. The village sits on a green hillside so steep that the houses look like they are holding on to each other. One unpaved road connects it to the world below. When it rains, the road turns to clay. When it is dry, the road turns to dust. Either way, you are walking it. Sofia's mother washed and ironed other people's clothes 6 days a week. Her father had left when Sofia was 5. She had a little brother named Matteo, who was always getting into trouble. And she had a dream so large, it barely fit inside their small concrete house. The dream started one January night when Matteo stopped breathing. He was 6 years old. Sofia's mother carried him to the door in the dark and screamed for the neighbors. Someone ran for Dr. Rosa. Dr. Rosa was the only doctor the village had. Small, quiet, with hands that never seemed to hurry. She arrived in 15 minutes. By morning, Matteo was sitting up asking for food. Sofia stood in the doorway of her brother's room and watched. She was 8 years old. She watched Dr. Rosa's hands. How certain they were. How calm. She thought, I want to know what she knows. I want hands like that. That thought never left her. Not once, not ever. Maybe you have had a moment like that. A moment when you saw someone do something and you thought, that is what I want to do. That is who I want to be. Sofia had hers at 8 years old, standing in a doorway in the dark. School was 4 kilometers away. Sofia walked it every morning. In the dry season, the road was dust. In the wet season, it was mud. She wore the same shoes for 3 years. When the sole came loose in the second year, she tied it back with a piece of wire and kept walking. At school, she sat in the front row, always. Her notebooks were filled front to back, and then sideways in the margins. Her teacher, Mr. Vargas, told her one afternoon, after the other students had gone home, Sofia, I have been teaching for 20 years. I have not had a student like you. Do not let anyone tell you what you cannot do. At home, she studied by the light of a single bulb that flickered when the wind was strong. Her mother worked until dark. Matteo was asleep by 8, and the house was quiet enough to think. Those were her favorite hours. Just Sofia and her books, and the sound of the mountains outside. Here is the part of the story where everything almost stopped. She was 15. Her mother sat her down at the kitchen table one evening. The expression on her face was the one Sofia had learned to dread. Sofia, the city school. The fees went up again. I don't know how we do it this year. The city school was where students went who were going somewhere. Better teachers, a real science laboratory, a path to university that actually existed. Without it, the road to becoming a doctor was not just difficult, it was almost closed. Sofia sat at that table for a long time after her mother went to bed. She did not cry. She made a list, every competition she could enter, every scholarship she could find, every small opening in a wall that looked completely solid. She entered a regional science essay competition, a health poster contest run by a local hospital, a mathematics prize she had no expectation of winning. She won the poster contest, second place in the essay. The mathematics prize she did not win, but someone noticed. A letter arrived 6 weeks later, from a foundation she had never heard of. A partial scholarship to the city school, not enough to cover everything, but enough. Her mother read it 3 times. Then she sat down on the kitchen floor and put her face in her hands, not from sadness, from relief so large it had nowhere else to go. Stay with this story, because what happens next is the part nobody talks about. The part that comes after the good news, after the scholarship, after the moment that was supposed to fix everything. The city school was everything the village school was not. Corridors that went on forever, laboratories with real equipment, students who had tutors and laptops, and parents who were already doctors themselves. Sofia had her notebooks and the habit of sitting in the front row. The first month was hard. She was behind in chemistry, behind in biology. The other students had covered things she had never seen. She stayed after class every day. She asked questions she was embarrassed to ask. She took the last bus home, ate whatever her mother had left covered on the stove, and studied until midnight. By the end of the first year, she was not behind anymore. By the end of the second year, she was at the top. Her chemistry teacher called her mother. "Your daughter is exceptional," she said. "Please make sure she applies to university." She applied to 6 universities. She was accepted by 3. The best one was in the capital, 6 hours away by bus, a city she had visited exactly once, on a school trip when she was 12. She remembered standing in the main square thinking, "Ordinary people live here. One day I will too." Medical school was 6 years. 6 years of more information than she had ever tried to hold in her head at once. She worked in the university canteen 3 evenings a week to pay for food. She shared a small apartment with 2 other students. She called her mother every Sunday. Those calls kept her going more than anything else. In her 3rd year, she almost quit. She will not talk about that year in detail, only that she was exhausted in a way that sleep could not fix, that she sat on a bench in a park one afternoon and seriously considered getting on a bus home and never coming back. She sat there for 2 hours. Then she got up and went back to the library. She thought about Dr. Rosa a lot that year, about Mateo sitting up by morning, about her mother on the kitchen floor, holding that letter. Those thoughts were not dramatic. They were quiet, but they were enough. Remember that moment at the beginning, the clinic, the 14 people waiting, the only doctor for 40 kilometers. This is how she got there. This is what it cost. And this is what it felt like when she finally arrived. She graduated on a Friday morning in November. Her mother took the overnight bus to be there. She brought Mateo, who was now 18 and taller than both of them. They stood outside the university afterwards and took a photograph. Sofia in her graduation gown, her mother squinting into the sun, Mateo making a face. It is the best photograph any of them have ever taken. She did not stay in the capital. She went back, not because she had to, because she wanted to. The village had no doctor. Dr. Rosa had retired the year before. Her small clinic had been sitting empty. On her first day, Sofia unlocked the clinic door at 8 in the morning. By 9, there were 12 people waiting. By noon, there were more than 20. She worked until 6. Then she went home, at dinner with her mother and Mateo, and felt for the first time in a very long time exactly where she was supposed to be. Dr. Rosa came to see her in the second week. She stood in the doorway of the clinic. She looked at the room, at the patients, at Sofia behind the desk. She did not say very much. She nodded once and left. That was enough. There is something Sofia said in an interview once. Someone asked her what kept her going through the hard years. She thought about it for a moment. Then she said, "I kept thinking about those hands. Dr. Rosa's hands, how certain they were. I just wanted to get to the place where my hands looked like that. I think I'm almost there. If you are watching this and you have a dream that feels too large for the place you are in right now, I want you to remember Sofia, not the doctor, the 8-year-old in the doorway, watching, deciding, already on her way,